first reaction most people have is panic. Like, oh, my free will is the only.
I made it.
Every morning I come in here and I exercise for roughly.
Are you in it again or that's it? You literally had like 5 seconds.
I'm just gonna celebrate in silence next time. In this episode, we talk about how to master strategic thinking and leverage with a weird game. My new documentary on Netflix, also featuring Brian Johnson, and freedom of speech is back. So put on your seatbelts, let's get into it. I got $1 trillion business idea.
Jesus. Every time.
I don't have a slide presentation this time,
I was really looking forward to that.
but I'm leading into it with a big skill that I recently learned that I think will have a huge impact on my effectiveness in work, my
Okay.
business, in life in general. And it feels like I'm able to see the matrix.
Okay.
Like, you know, when you see a magic trick from some magician, you know, it's just, you know, he did it somehow, but it looks crazy, just chop someone in half,
Okay.
versus actually seeing how the trick is done, and you can't unsee it. That's how I feel right now. It's like when a newbie watches an expert artist or like an Olympian like perform, it's like, oh, that looks great, but the expert, who's also an Olympian, actually knows that it's actually way crazier than they think. Like then they can see on the surface. So in the past podcast, we talked about commonalities between billionaires. So yes, it's that topic.
Okay. Love it.
You don't. I can tell.
I don't.
But you will.
Okay.
We talked about strategy games.
Okay.
And you asked, what is the strategy? What about strategy games is it that applies to business? Like, what is strategy? I figured it out. So I played Polytopia, the game that Elon Musk raved about, and played a bunch of matches. And I learned a lot from it. A lot. And it, like, genuinely, I think in Polytopia terms now, in my business. Like, it changed the way that I do work and how I think about what to do next in strategy. So, to give you a bit of context about the game, it's kind of like a chess setup, right? So you have a map. It's 10 times more complex than chess, but you have this map, and you're building cities, right? This is a city right here, and you have units. These 2 units, and every turn, you have a number of stars. So right now, this guy gets 9 stars every turn. If he builds a new city, he gets an extra star every turn. So the stars are the resources. That way you can build new units, you can explore the map, you can attack because there's 2 or 3 other enemies on the map. You can also research new abilities, whether it's like hunting or forestry and stuff like that, which then allows you to get more resources. So basically think about it this way. It's all about what is the highest leverage move for me to do right now? What am I optimizing for? How many resources do I have? And thinking steps ahead. If I do this, I would have this many resources now. I think more long term. Or I could go attack and mess with my opponent, but then, you know, instead I could build a city, and, you know, so it's like all these different moves that you're contemplating.
This reminds me of a game called Red Alert.
Red Alert.
Same thing.
Yeah, strategy game.
Yeah.
Wait, Command and Conquer.
I think that might be it. Command and Conquer. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, dude, I used to be a huge gamer back in the day.
Love that game, dude. It was tough. When you played against good people, you're like, oh,
Yes.
they're coming at me with the tanks, and you're like, I'm still not even there yet.
Yeah.
How did they get their tanks?
Dude, but that's the thing. Why did they get the tanks and you didn't? It's because, and this is the beauty about this. This is a turn-based game. There's no like, oh, the faster you do it, or like
It's making the right decisions.
It's just about making the right high-level decisions. And so the goal is either to take the entire map or to have the most points by the end of 30 turns, depending on what game mode you play. This is the skill tree. You can discover new skills that then allow you to do certain things. So it's all about how do I allocate the resources that I have right now to get the biggest ROI. And this is how it connects in real life. Because think about this, in real life, you think about, you have limited resources. How much time do I have? How much money do I have? What relationships do I have, right? And it's all about spending it strategically. What do I work on? Which direction do I go in? And same thing in real life, there's a map. Like, what's the map in real life? It is the market that you're in, the podcasting market, the competitors, like how many people are consuming, how much does it cost for me to have one output? Like, there's all these similarities that I'm seeing now. And what this game practices, or the skill it developed in me, is the skill of working on the business versus in it. And we hear this all the time, right? It's like, oh, you got to work on the business, not in the business. But it's easier said than done. But like, I think when we have time to work on the business, we suck at it because we do it so little. This cranks that skill up. And it's not a perfect representation, of course, but it builds the same muscles.
What do you think is working on the business?
It's zooming out and doing the quarterly planning. What is the one thing that if we achieve it this month, this quarter, this year, whatever, is going to make everything else easier or unnecessary? This is from The One Thing by Gary Keller, by the way. This is one of the ways to do that, right? It's even day to day. I have 12 hours today. Out of those, I can maybe focus for 3 or 4 on deep work, then another 3 or 4 on meetings and networking or whatever.
Deep work? What's deep work for you?
Deep work is writing. There's no distractions. I'm locking myself in my room and I'm writing.
Writing about what? Journaling?
No. It could be writing a book if you're writing a book. It could be, something that requires a lot of brain power. If you're coding, be that. And so, like, this is something we do all the time. And this is where I get into the 4 things that I took away from this. But I think the general idea is we spend way too little time on the business. And the greatest entrepreneurs that we look up to, they're masters at this. If you ever listen to an interview of the Spotify CEO, he's like, well, the market is moving this way. These are the resources we have. We're moving in this direction because we're betting on that. We have this much percentage of confidence to achieve that. That's what you do in this game.
Solid.
How much time do you think you spend on your business versus in the business right now?
I think it's more difficult now. Because now I take high leverage I take high leverage moves. I don't really do the grunt work anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's just like, I see what you mean, but I also like, it's a little bit different for my situation, just because like my biggest task right now was building out the sales course for the companies I'm working with.
But you can apply it to your life, not just to your business.
So, okay. So then if that's the case, then we'll look at dating.
Finding a wife.
I think that for me was my biggest goal, because business was whatever. I'm not really crazy about that. But I feel like now dating was a big obstacle. That was like, all right. I think finding women wasn't difficult, but it's more of like finding a woman that actually aligned with my values. And I think that was what I was really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, like the high leverage task was, all right, how do I go to communities or organizations where I can find a lot of women that share my values, instead of me trying to go find them outside at parties or friend gatherings or online dating. Whereas like, how can I make the pool even smaller, but then find specific individuals that I can really build with? And that kind of goes back to the last episode we did. We joined the cult. Like joining communities like that made my life a lot easier. And I had a lot of options with great quality women. Hence now, this like the person I'm talking to is obviously in there as well. But it made my life, that was the high leverage task I did. I'm like, instead of going and searching, I'm going to put myself in a place where they come to me.
Yeah.
And it worked.
I think it's tougher to apply to dating than this. For sure.
Business is definitely a little bit different, because in business, like creating that course now is going to triple our revenue.
You're not in a stage right now where you focus on that stuff, but for me, this has been hyper relevant. And I think it's just a great skill.
For you, what would it be? What's your high leverage task you need to get done?
I want to get into that. That is definitely well, I can probably just get to that right now actually. One of the things I learned from this is the only thing you can do at all times in every moment is, or the most effective thing to do is to find what is the highest leverage thing for you to do and just do it. So the only focus for you should be to do your highest leverage move now. Because that's why your opponent had tanks and you didn't. Because they picked better moves. And so we all have limited resources, right? I have only a certain amount of budget, a certain of income right now, given that I abandoned my previous channel. Certain amount of time. I don't have a team anymore. So there's a lack of resources, right? I get like 5 stars per turn right now that I can spend. So I can spend them in all these ways, and one way is going to get me so much further than other ways, but I got to find them. So what I looked at was, have you heard the RICE tool? Mm-mm. It's basically a way to almost assign numbers to all the things that you could do by looking at the reach. Okay, how many people will this reach? How many customers will this impact? This project, for example, one of them could be I hire a video podcast editor, which is what I'm currently doing. Another project could be, hey, what if I put out 3 clips for every episode on the Clips channel? That could be a big thing. Another thing could be, I want to make the editing better of the podcast. Post-production should be better. Another thing would be, I could get a personal assistant to help me save time on a bunch of stuff. Like all these things, I listed them out, I put them in here, and I looked at reach, I looked at impact on a scale from 1 to, or 0.25 to 3 is how much would this project increase the conversion rate when a customer encounters it, or in my case, how much of an impact would this generally have in terms of new viewers and stuff like that, just to assign some numbers to it. Confidence, big one. How certain am I that this will occur? If it's 100%, yeah. Like if I have 100% certainty that if I reach out to you, message you, call you, you're going to get back to me. That's 100% certainty, right? But with some things, it's like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Maybe like 30% certainty, 50% certainty. 10% would be a moonshot, right? But it basically, and then effort. How many resources, how many stars in Polytopia terms, is it going to take from me? How much money, how much time, all that. And then it gives me a score and I can look at what's the biggest thing. And I put those numbers in and I'm like, the biggest thing for me right now is finding an editor that's going to it's going to clear up the most time. The next thing is increasing the amount of post-production. Like spending way more time on research and finding better topics. That's the next thing. Only after that should I focus on going ham on the clips. Because doing better post-production, pre-production, finding better topics, makes everything else so much easier. Because once the clips get put out, then we have way better clips. We have way better retention. Everything gets better. Word of mouth, like making the product better is one of these highest leverage moves that impacts everything else.
Okay, so let me ask you then. Do you have a system for pre-production?
I'm building one, yeah.
I think that's more ideal. It's like, but I think,
yeah, you want to operationalize all these, of course, right? But
here's the thing. I want you to reverse engineer it and go from like backwards, where it's just like, how do I get out of it as soon as possible?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're doing that from that perspective, it's like, all right, how can I create an SOP that now I can give to maybe my editor or maybe somebody that's coming in that's an assistant that can do everything for me, and then be like, all right, these are 3 topics that I found this week that I think are solid. Yeah. Which one do you like the most? Mm-hmm. And then from there, but you also have to create it for yourself. So then this next quarter is like, how can I create the best SOP for post-production?
The sequence is important, right? It's like, because first I have to figure it out myself.
100%.
Then operationalize it, then delegate it.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, I think a lot of...
But even then, the question is that the best thing for me to delegate? It may be, it may not be.
Okay, so...
No, but here's the thing. You haven't played Polytopia. Literally, this is what I learned from this. Because there may be another higher leverage move that I should focus on right now.
Okay, so let's talk about it. I think this...
Because here's the thing. This is another... this is actually the last lesson. The only focus is to do your highest leverage move now. That's the only thing you can do. Don't do like the yearly planning or like what you'll do it eventually. No, right now, what is the most important thing? What's the biggest bottleneck? What's the highest leverage move you can do right now? Because this is a difference between somebody making $100,000 a year to somebody making 10 million which is 100x, but they spent the same amount of time working, the same amount of effort, it's the same amount of luck, but they just allocated resources differently. They sequenced it differently.
So okay, so let's talk about it.
And then the other lesson is you got to know your resources. Otherwise, you can't allocate them. The beauty about the game is it tells you how many stars you get per turn. But like, I don't think people know, and I didn't know, and I don't know, like what's my budget? How much money do I have coming in? How much brain power do I have per day? How many hours do I actually have? What are the relationships that I have that I can tap into? Like, people don't know what can I actually commit to. And like, using this Rice scoring system right here to put the numbers in, dude, that gave me a level of clarity that people just winging it. And here's the thing, disclaimer, I'm not saying don't ever listen to your emotions. I think listening to your gut is incredible, and I think you should totally do it. And doing stuff like this feeds your gut more data, so that when you have a gut feeling, I think I should focus on this, it's more accurate. Because with a lack of data, your gut feeling, it sucks. It's bad. Because I think gut feeling is simply your subconscious running an algorithm of putting in all these calculations without you knowing. That's literally what I think the gut feeling is. It's like, I feel like we should focus on this. I can't explain why, but you know.
Well, I think what will be valuable to the audience is like, what's your high leverage task right now? I think discussing it and actually breaking down in front of them is going to be supportive toward them. Because I mean, I guarantee you people are going to be watching this and being like, all right, what's my high leverage task? How do I figure it out?
Yeah.
And I think figuring out in terms of like, all right, you said it yourself, how do you figure out what's your high leverage task?
So I basically filled out this thing here, right? And the 4 or 5 things that I was looking at, and I should do way more of it. This is like actually working way more on the business. This is all part of working on the business, right? On your life, rather than just being in your life and, you know, just like winging it. I only set up like 5 or 6 high leverage moves that I thought were top of mind. And yeah, one of them is, okay, I need a video editor for the podcast. That'll save me a bunch of time on post production. I've already worked with some people, but I want to find someone that I can work with long term, right? Someone who's really committed and becomes part of the team. Second piece is start posting clips on the other channels so that this channel grows, right? I wanted to do it once we have like 3 or 4 episodes out. Then another thing is split testing a bunch of the titles, right? And thumbnails. Another thing is improving or like doing better research in pre-production so that the topics and the podcast itself is better.
So out of those, if your life depended on it,
Video editor.
Yeah. Okay. Why? How much? What would getting the video editor do for your life? What would it open up?
And I calculated roughly in 60 days, they would save me 10 hours a week.
Beautiful.
If I train them well. And it's probably 20 hours up front of me to find them. Maybe I'm way off with this, but that's my hypothesis is.
Okay. So then those 10 hours a week that you got back, what are you gonna do with those 10 hours a week?
I love that you asked that, because this brings me back to the point. I'll figure it out then. For me now to plan what the next thing is, I shouldn't even think about that yet. I should only focus on the highest leverage move right now, this turn.
Okay, let's talk
Right.
about this. I actually disagree. And this is something, because here's the thing. There's this great book by Patrick Bet-David where it's like your next 5 moves. I think your next 5 moves it's kind of like the 90 days. Once you have the editor, you're basically planning on what you're gonna do with the allocated time, so you can actually move to the next step. Again, we don't want you to know the next 10 moves. We just need you to know enough where it's like, once you get to these next 3 moves, all right, cool. What are the next 3 moves after that? Because it's like building blocks. So it's like, right now, if you got an editor, okay, then you figure out, then you have to go through the same process all over again. When I would rather just take a step back and be like, all right, cool. I'm getting the editor, so this can happen. And then when this happens, then I can do this. And then this happens, then I can do this.
I have an idea. That's the thing.
Okay, so what is it?
We'll spend more time on pre-production. Then,
Okay, and then
once there's a system for that, the next thing, and I put them in order, right? So they're in order. The next thing would then be like going ham on the clips.
How long would pre-production take you a day?
What's that?
How long would pre-production take you? You
Um,
have 10 hours. Out of those 10 hours, how many hours is that going to take?
that's where I put down in my sheet. I was like, I'm not sure yet. It depends on what the system will look like because I don't even know what it needs. It's not like a thing where it's like, oh, this is how long it usually takes for people. You know, it's like, no, it depends on what process I find and all that.
So now let's, hypothetically speaking.
But here's my argument is even when I find the editor, even though I know what the next step could be, I should still reevaluate, get back to the board.
100%.
Zoom out again.
100%.
That's why I don't think, like, I can have an idea of what it will be, but I think oftentimes you'll zoom out again. You're like, now that I have the editor, I can just add a step to the process and he can do the clips. Oh, I don't even need to do that anymore, right? But it depends on the editor. Maybe they're complete beginner. They don't, they need a lot of guidance on that. So let me do that first, right? It depends on factors that I can't predict yet.
So now let's take a step back and look at it from the bigger picture. Let's say somebody's watching this right now and they want to start their YouTube channel. What's the first high leverage task they can do? Number one.
The question should be, what are all the moves that we can think of? Then you score them. Then you make hypotheses about what's the cost.
But don't make it more complicated for your audience. Simplify it as much as possible. If you were to start over right now.
You want me to give advice to the audience?
100%. Because if we're talking about this from your perspective, you're a little bit more advanced. But I guarantee you there's somebody right now watching this being like, well, what about us?
You want to get granular. I just wanted to talk about the high level thinking of it, but I
think this stuff is valuable because I think this stuff is stuff that a lot of entrepreneurs don't talk about. And I think this is the stuff that really changes businesses and take them from like 6 to 7 figures to 8 figures. Like I love how you're downplaying something so valuable that people can really make a massive shift on. You talk about other boring shit that I'm like, no one really gives a fuck.
What, you think it's...
No, this is good. This is valuable. I think this is valuable stuff that I think people could really gain.
I love that you're such a critic. I love it.
Yeah, because it's great. I think this is great.
I love it. No,
because this is stuff that nobody talks about. This is the stuff people gatekeep. Don't gatekeep. That's what I'm trying to pull it out of you. Don't gatekeep. I know people are wondering this shit, and it's like I want you to ask. And I'm swearing.
What's the highest leverage thing for someone to do if they want to start YouTube?
Right now.
Oh man, it's such a loaded question. It depends on so many factors.
Don't overthink it.
You got to get the reason why your channel doesn't blow up is because your content sucks.
Okay.
And you suck at the fundamentals of content, which is packaging. Video ideas is the foundation, packaging, and then the hook of the video and storytelling in general.
So it's not about buying a camera or a microphone.
No, you just use your iPhone.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, your content sucks and it'll suck for a while and the production is not going to do anything. So this is a perfect example because people have 10 stars in Polytopia.
Yeah.
Right? They have 10 stars and they're like, oh, camera, that's going to cost me 5 stars. One is the cost of it. Secondly, figuring out how the damn thing works. And every time you record, you make mistakes and you're like, oh, I had the wrong settings. It looks like ass. You just spent 5 stars on something that will not bring you forward at all. So use your iPhone. Maybe get a mic for $15 online that plugs into your iPhone. That's it. You're not allowed to get more. Maybe a stand, but you can use a book for that. But if you have got the money, get a stand. Anything beyond that is a waste of time and resources and brain power and headaches and everything. It's like getting this Sony camera, dude. Have you seen the settings on that thing?
Yeah. No.
Sucks.
Yeah, this is more advanced. I'm not gonna.
Perfect example. And also even just like figuring out what content should I make, dude. You will not figure it out. You won't. You'll figure it out after the bunch of videos that you made. But you have to make videos to figure out what you want to do, what your niche is, how you can stand out. Don't worry about that now. Because nobody's going to watch your videos because they suck. That's okay, because the first priority is just become really good at the fundamentals of making great videos. That's it.
So storytelling and learning hooks.
Packaging as well.
What does that mean?
Title and thumbnail. Like when I see the title and thumbnail on the homepage, number one, do I see it? Does it stand out visually? And number two, once I see it, my eyes hit the thumbnail, am I intrigued enough to click?
Okay, so if I'm starting a YouTube channel right now, the biggest thing I should focus on is title, thumbnail, and how to package it. Or that's the packaging.
Yes. It's like you need that and a great video to make it pop.
100%.
Right?
Because this is the part that a lot of people struggle. A lot of people want to make YouTube channels, but it's like they don't know where to start. Because it's kind of
don't start a YouTube channel.
I was talking to our mutual friend. Yeah, don't start a YouTube channel unless you.
This is literally what I'm telling everyone.
Yeah, it sucks.
Here's what I do. I've had dozens of people tell me, hey, by the way, I've also wanted to start a YouTube channel. And they're an entrepreneur, they have a business, and they want to do YouTube on the side. I always do the same thing. I tell them, don't do it. They're like, oh, why not? It's like, you don't want to do it. It sucks. It's really difficult. You're not going to make it. 9 times out of 10, they leave it at that. And it's true. They won't make it because even when they hear that resistance, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to do it.
It's a lot of work.
But the ones that do come back, I'm like, okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. But it can't be a side thing unless you have already a lot of stars. You get 30 stars per turn, and you can hire people, and you can hire a consultant, and you can hire someone like me or somebody who's already figured it out and can lead the way. So
I was talking to our mutual friend, Marcus. Yeah, I was with him yesterday, and for people watching, Marcus is one of our very successful.
I talked about him on the pod.
Yeah,
the guy who looks very young.
Yeah, and he gave me like a master class on like tech startups because like he's been sending me a lot of stuff. He just wants me to get dialed in on tech startups, and I build it. And yesterday he just sat me down and he was like, a lot of people just focus on all the BS. He was like, they focus on things that they don't need to focus on initially. And then I brought up the case where it's like when people come to me like, oh, I want to build a coaching business or I want to build a business and I'm going to do my LLC. I'm going to get my business cards. I'm going to do all this stuff. Useless.
Website.
Useless.
Logo design.
Dude, my friend does 10 million a year and literally doesn't have a website. Doesn't.
Don't need it.
Exactly. And I think this is the stuff that everybody focuses on. But I think it's just them being afraid of actually taking the steps they need to take to actually get results. Because I always tell people, I'm like, forget about your LLC. Forget about the website. Forget about everything. Just get somebody to pay you. I don't care what it is. Just get somebody to pay you.
Yeah. That's the first step of business is proof of concept.
That's it.
Especially if you have an innovative product. If you have something that is already out there and you just want to compete and make it a bit better, sure, you don't. That'll be easy, but yeah.
It's kind of like with YouTube. Just get views for your specific thing. Do people actually want are people actually staying to watch the whole entire video?
Yeah.
Like it's so it blows my mind, but I was that dumbass. I have so many different types of business cards for every business I started. I literally have 7 or 8 business cards.
Really?
And I'll never forget one time. What changed it for me is one of my mentors came to me, and he was like,
"Oh, you're always dropping a mentor."
My mentors,
many mentors.
My mentors literally changed my life. I don't care what anybody says. Like Ty Lopez was on something when he said you can find a mentor. I'm like, you're right. I should find a mentor. Yeah. No, he literally told me, he was like, if somebody gives you their business card, that means you didn't build enough rapport for them to give you their number. And I was like, that hurt. That hurt because it was true. Yeah. He was like, people should be begging to want to get your phone number or want to give you their number so they can stay in contact with you. If they give you their business card, they're never going to contact you again. How many times have you actually got a business card and you actually used it? Let's be real. Like it's
dude, I throw them out. It's always so sad.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is in my pocket. And I forget about them. I'm always like, oh, it's something in my pocket. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's so sad.
It's true.
Yeah, of course. But you see, this is wasting these stars that you have per turn, and we have limited resource.
That's the LLC. That's the website. That's all. That's
all that stuff. By the way, are you sold to play the game? Because that's really what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get you to play the game with me.
I'll play with you.
Okay, perfect. We can skip the topic then. That's all I wanted.
Well,
that's all I wanted.
It's a good sell. I like conquering and like games like that. I like. And I like the fact that we can do like turns. It's less pressure because the other one you got to work fast.
Yes.
So it's stressful.
And it's more about tactic. It's more about being in the business.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can click faster than you. I can do. No. This is all on and it builds that muscle, that strategy muscle. Because here's another thing. Yes.
Are you good at chess?
Good. There's levels to this, but no, I'm okay.
I'm like decent. I'm like a 1500.
Dude, I actually do have. I want to get through these points. Let me walk through these points because one of them is related to chess.
Okay.
Let me just walk through this quickly. So one of them is always do your highest leverage move right now and then reassess. The other one is know your resources. Otherwise, you can't allocate them because in the game we have numbers. In real life, we don't. So put a number to things. How many hours do you have? How much effort? Like that's why the RISE tool I think is really impactful. The other thing is know the map. You see these fluffy clouds or whatever this is?
Yeah.
This is the stuff that he hasn't explored yet, right? In the beginning, it starts very small. But basically, you want to explore the map to see where's the opponent, where are hidden resources.
Is that the whole map?
Yes, that's the whole map. It's like a chessboard.
But I can't. So right now you're on one corner and I can't see you.
Exactly.
But you're doing the same thing I'm doing.
Potentially. You
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if I already have tanks or whatever, you know? They don't have tanks in this game, but
The trauma.
yeah. But knowing the map is so crucial. And what is knowing the map in the real world? It's knowing the market, knowing the customer, knowing where things are going, where's technology going. Again, I think I already mentioned it, but the greatest entrepreneurs, they know the business in and out and the field and the market and the competitors more than anyone else. I can tell how successful someone's business is by how much they know about the industry. Like they just know more. If you know where the enemy is and where the hidden resources are and where the troops are and everything, you have a huge advantage. So, like with podcasts, for example, one of the unlocks that I know, being connected to a lot of creators.
Is this on the phone?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Being connected to a lot of creators is like, okay, did you know that, like, what do you think is the new YouTube trend that is blowing up, that is the YouTube consumer behavior that you see a big shift in nowadays? Is it like more people on their mobile phones, more people on TV, more people on computers? Like, what do you think it is, viewing behavior wise?
TV.
Yes. It's counterintuitive, but more and more people going back to watching on TV. Therefore, we have a big search in long form episodes. And so I'm thinking about, how can I make something interesting for TV? How can I optimize for that? Like, if you don't know these things, like, you're at a disadvantage, right?
No, I catch myself doing that all the time too. I like going on TV and just sitting there and just watching it instead of my phone, so that I can use my phone for other things.
Yeah.
Literally, that's the whole reason.
Yeah. And that's why I think podcasts are having such a big search in long form content, meaning hour long plus, because people just want to be able to put something on and just like, let me just watch it long term, instead of like having to choose a next video every 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Last thing, this one connects to chess. The deeper you can calculate the consequences, the better bets you'll make.
I like that. I really like that.
Because what I see in myself and everyone else is people are very think lazy. If they're faced with a challenge and they ask themselves, how do I grow my podcast? You have answers within 5 seconds. Immediately my brain goes, oh, I got to upload more often, better packaging. I can put out clips. Okay, I got it. One of these, I choose one of these. No, stop. Let's think more about this. In fact, let's chew on this for the next month. Still take action in the meantime, but when I'm in the shower, when I'm in the evenings and I'm sitting down to journal, let's think about it more. What else? You come up with different levels of answers. Also thinking about the consequences. Okay, if I put out clips, if I hire an editor, what will be the consequences of that? Versus if I do this, how would this impact all these other things? It's a lot. It's draining. It's very exhausting to think that way. But it's the same way in chess. The person that can calculate more moves ahead of time and like, okay, if I move here, he could move here, here. I could do this, but then they could do this. It's like it takes a lot of mental brain processing, which requires a high IQ, I think. I think that's what IQ is connected to. I could be totally wrong. But you'll be able to make better bets. Because there's some moves that I didn't calculate in the past with my YouTube channel. One of them was, okay, let's say everything works out the way I want to, and I want to build this team. I'm putting out these videos once a month. Can I do this long term? The answer is no, I don't want to. That's a decision I could have made beforehand. Like, I think 1 hour of deep thinking can save us months of work. Because we're able to see consequences that we haven't considered before. And same thing with this game. You think about, okay, if I build a soldier, he'll be ready in the next round. I can move him 2 spots over here. And that time, my enemy might move this way. So maybe I should try, it's like, and then oftentimes you find yourself going, just do it. I'll just do it. And that's what I find myself doing in real life as well. I'm planning and I'm chewing on a problem. I don't find a solution quickly enough. I get lazy. I'm like, let me just do the thing. But man, I think if we had the disciplines to just like, no, let me do the brain thinking work and plan ahead, we can come up with much better moves. It's very tough. And my buddy Kyle, he was one of the previous episodes. We got into chess. We play chess. He would play chess like 10 matches a day on his phone, and I would only play him. I would still beat him. And there's only one reason why I kept beating him. He was way more experienced. He saw way more moves than me, but there's one thing that I usually beat him on, which is the biggest weakness in chess. Impulsivity. He's just like, it should be fine, let's just do it. And then he blunders his queen. He blunders his rook or knight or whatever. And man, I think that's one of the things I learned from this as well. It's like,
Be smart.
don't be lazy. Not just be smart, but don't be think lazy. Like calculate the moves.
Yeah, I definitely think that happens a lot with rookie entrepreneurs. It's funny because in chess, when I play chess, I suck at killing the king at the end.
Yes, it
Suck.
It required. I
Dude,
remember that
I didn't
too.
realize how hard it was because I'm like, I'll kill every single one of their people. I'll take all their people, and then the king's just running away, and I'm like, I just don't know the moves.
Yeah.
I don't know how to trap them. And usually it takes like, you have to understand the combinations of every single. We need at least two where you go like, I'll trap him here and I'll go here, and you just start.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't realize how difficult it was until you get to the end. Because I would play these computers and I would like do all the way to the end, even people, and they would just run away until 5 and it would be a stalemate. I'm like, no, it's not. I dusted you, but now we're gonna take a stalemate. Yes. And it was, and I realized, holy crap, it really is all about the finish. It's not just about getting all their people. It's like, how do you finish this as quick as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, chess is a great example of this as well, but I think this even more so because this is way more complex and you have the resources, you have,
Dude, I'm down to play this with you.
Yeah. Let's play a match. Do you know what the most exciting part about this, connecting this to real life is?
Oh.
In real life, the rules are different. Because think about this. In real life, you have infinite moves. Here you have very limited moves. You can move a unit, you can harvest these resources, you can build a new city, whatever. In real life, you have infinite amount of moves. And as a game developer, you have to make the game balanced. You can't just put in one move that's like, he gets like 30 stars in the very beginning and then just like he has like 1,000 stars in the end per round. In real life, there are certain moves you can make that are so OP, overpowered, that nobody stands a chance. And
like what? What's an example of that?
Perfect. Glad you asked. I wrote some down. Rockefeller controlling the supply chain through railroads.
Okay.
Big brain move. Like he could have done infinite amount of things, but he knew, because of his strategic mind, if I control the railroads, I have a monopoly. Jeff Bezos with Amazon's flywheel. Same thing with him too, with the supply chain.
Flywheel?
Like, you know what a flywheel is?
Mm-mm.
You don't know what a flywheel is?
Mm-mm.
Flywheel is the idea that the better it gets, the better it gets. Meaning, the more people shop on Amazon, the more suppliers they have and people selling products on Amazon because that's what the customers are. Meaning they have more variety, therefore prices are lower, therefore they get more customers, therefore they have more people selling. And it's like the more customers they get, the more suppliers they get, the more customers,
Yeah.
And Amazon is basically a logistics company. It's not a website where you buy stuff. It's a logistics company because they're number one at getting it to you the next day.
I think that's what really turned it around for them, the 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
2-day shipping was a game changer. That was in my opinion, that was the OP move that was like.
Exactly.
Yeah, they destroyed FedEx. They destroyed every single UPS. And they made it free, which made it even more like, well, obviously not free, but you get what I mean. $9 a month.
Yeah.
It's an insane recurring model. Insane.
Yeah. And there's moves like that out there all the time for all of us right now. There's a move like that for me right now with my podcast, for you with your sales business, right? Like, it's just about finding them. And you don't have that in the game. In real life, there's unlimited possibilities of what you could do. For example, Mr. Beast counting to 100,000. The video is It's tough. It's tough to count 100,000, but it's not tougher than making a bunch of other videos that have been made on YouTube. How many views? 31 million. What's the OP move? Coming up with a viral idea. That was it for him, right? So yeah, for other companies, it is partnering up with an influencer for an e-commerce company, like Onnit. I don't know if you know the company Onnit that has like brain supplement and stuff like that. They partnered up with Joe Rogan, right? For a lot of companies, it has
Joe
been
Rogan is
getting-
the OP move.
yeah, for a lot of companies, it has been, right? But there's so many out there like that we haven't even considered yet. So I think if you don't know what the highest leverage move for you is, it's your job to find it. And this is not for those people out there who are overthinking. Overthinking is different. Overthinking is based on fear. It's like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. Whoa. No, this is strategic thinking. Period.
Do you know what your high leverage move was?
When?
I know what was my high leverage move for my businesses.
When?
What is yours? Do you know what yours was?
What do you mean?
Or your OP
was?
or
When?
your OP?
Oh, I think there's multiple ones.
Well, which ones have you done recently, or did recently in your career, like in the past couple of years? They think transformed it.
Doing podcasts with Chase Hughes.
Yeah,
Just one connection, literally millions of views on these episodes, and man, I mean, they made a lot of money for me. A lot of money.
It's insane.
And even now, yeah, continuing to work with him and being his friend, being in touch with him is great. Like the opportunities it opens up. Oftentimes it's people.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
For me, it was getting a job at the number one sales company in my industry in the world, and learning from the best. Saved me maybe like 8 years.
Yeah.
Especially also seeing what a company doing about 6 or 7 million a month looks like, then having that knowledge and going to companies that weren't doing that and being able to like do it for them. Again, years and years of knowledge just cut down into like 6 months.
Yeah.
But I also like wasn't there and I was studying. I was just quiet and I was just learning everything I could.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that you put it in that perspective. So I think...
So are you sold on it now? Because when I first pitched it to you, you were like, it's kind of boring.
No. I think it's different. It's the way you... It's the way you explained it.
It's the way I packaged it.
So now it's like, how do you now make that more concise? So this way it took way too long to sell me. I would have...
You think so?
100%. I would have spaced out a long time ago. But it's like, how could you have gotten to that
You
point?
would have or you did?
No. I was engaged.
Okay, then what's the problem?
I mean, could you have done it sooner though? Yeah, you could have gotten to the point a lot faster.
As long as you're engaged. I don't know. That's all I care about.
I think like I said, I think you could have definitely gotten to the point faster.
All right, let's move on. I teased that this is a $1 trillion business idea.
Jesus.
You guys know the rules. We have $1 trillion business ideas sometimes because we're generous and we're looking to give so much value that it hurts. We give some of them away. And this is a $1 trillion business idea that I have that connects to this idea of Polytopia and strategy games. Yeah. The rule is we get 1% when you sell it for $1 trillion. That's only 10 billion. So
yeah, casual.
What if there's an AI that can...
How much do I get out of that?
Well, it depends on if you're in. You got to hype it up with me.
Oh, God.
Because last time you were shitting on my idea and then...
No, I supported it. I thought it's a great idea. I honestly, like, you presented it in a way that made sense. Again, you like...
But listen to this.
Okay.
What if there's an AI that can help you build a custom strategy game to your business, your situation, your whatever you want to conquer? You want to become an Olympic athlete? Create a strategy game based on that. You have limited resources. You've got to find a competitive edge. And it's just a way to play a game like that. Like, for example, what if this map was not Polytopia? What if this was...
Olympians.
It was a representation of YouTube or podcasts. And I'm over here. I only have so much money. I only have one mediocre co-host, and I'm.
Dude, I think I usually will shit on your ideas. Genius.
You like it?
I love that idea. Honestly,
dude,
I'm gonna call Marcus right now and be like, hey, you have a new AI idea, and I think because if you do this for every industry, I literally think that's sexy as hell.
I think every person with an AI should put in their own metrics where they're like, hey, I currently have this much money, and you basically simulate your own business virtually so you can do reps. What if I do this? What if I do that? How would this work out?
Dude, that's a great idea.
Because this is literally what this game does. for these like great entrepreneurs who play these games, it simulates strategic thinking, but it's too abstract. It's too disconnected from what they actually do. But what if it was more closely connected? Another $1 trillion business idea.
I might take this idea
Great. So somebody go out there
and
build
beat me
it.
to
We get 1%. And
No,
I want to be a character in the game.
No, no, like I know you're joking, but like I hope you're not.
Dude, I'm not.
I think this is great because literally I was talking to Marcus about this yesterday, and he was like, the hardest thing that entrepreneurs struggle with right now is finding a problem to solve. If you literally have an AI tool that you can just put in, hey, this is my goal and this is my dream. What is the path to get there? Here's how old I am. Here's how much money I have in my bank account. Here's what I have. This. Give me the best route to get from point A to point B.
Look at what are the latest news online? The topics that are buzzing, the topics that are trending.
I would 100% be willing to invest in something like this because I think
it's fun.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a fun game
because it makes it a game. It gamifies the whole process because you're like, all right, I have this much energy. I have this. This is where I live. This is the exact neighborhood I have. What are the things around me? What are the resources?
Reminds me of back in the day in elementary school. These friends of mine, they would play not Sims. It was just a browser game, but it was a homeless game. You played a homeless guy, and you would like go and collect bottles, and then you could spend it on certain things. And then I never played it, but why simulate being a homeless person? Why couldn't you simulate your exact business? So that's my idea.
I think this is
great. Like it? Awesome. Cool. Should I adjust the lighting a bit again? It's getting harsh again. I need to work on this. See, but this is not a priority.
It's not that deep. I think we're doing. I think yeah. This is
okay, I'll just keep it for now.
Yeah.
Dude.
I
new segment.
I like how we break the fourth wall and we talk about things that are going wrong and going great. And I think it's solid.
Yeah, it's important. I may cut this out. Actually.
What?
I may cut this out. Actually.
Oh, got it.
I'm kidding.
Please don't.
I'll keep it in now. Dude, new segment. We're testing segments like left and right because I want to test. That. If you like the segments, let us know. But this one's the Wobble You segment.
The what?
Wobble You.
What the hell's a Wobble You?
The letter.
Yeah.
Wobble You. When you have a win, that's a Wobble You.
It's like the thing like Wombo from SpongeBob. You Wombo, I Wombo, we she.
No, it's like when you're collecting a Wobble You.
I've never heard of it, bro.
Okay, so I like to say it that way. My ex-girlfriend's brother was he said it that way. He was special. He took the short bus to school.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he would say Wobble You.
So it's W.
Wobble You. Let's just say Wobble
Got
You.
it, with Wobble You. Okay, what about Wobble You?
I want to share a Wobble You with you that happened
a win?
Beginning of this year.
Okay, got it. Now, okay,
I have not seen it yet, but this is wild. So, are you ready to react?
Yes.
Actually, the source
It's on Netflix.
of our self-destructive behaviors. So I would argue the mind is dead.
Sorry, the mind is dead, and the goal is to give complete control of your well-being over to an algorithm? You know who says stuff like that? Algorithms.
First reaction most people have is panic. It's like, well, my free will
Is that you?
is the only reason I exist, and if I can't eat what I want to eat, then I have no reason to exist.
Wow.
Yeah, it tastes like nutrition.
That's just a knee-jerk reaction. It's just the mind panicking.
You're famous.
It feels like its authorities in question.
Dude, can I get your autograph? Are you in it again, or that's it?
No big deal. That happens. That's how I live my life.
Dude, like, can you like sign my chest? Not like a weird way or anything.
Okay, this segment sucks. I'm not going to do this again. I'm just going to celebrate in silence next time. Moving on.
You literally had like 5 seconds. You said something. I'm proud of you. I think this is incredible.
Moving on.
Are we not happy with the result?
I'm going to celebrate with friends who are ready to celebrate.
Dude, I was genuinely impressed in the beginning, and I was hoping, you would say something else.
Hey, this is just a common Wobble You for me.
You made Netflix, bro. I haven't even made Netflix.
When I introduce myself to people now, I'm saying, my name's Leon. I have a documentary on Netflix. I do YouTube as well on the side.
Yeah, but that's not really that
Yeah.
serious. It's all about the documentary.
Moving on. That's my W.
That was incredible.
Freedom of speech is becoming trendy again.
Jesus. That transition was...
Okay, let me transition differently. Let me think of a hook. There's a cultural shift happening right now that will impact our lives every single day that we need to be prepared for. The danger, freedom of speech. We just talked about this yesterday, and yesterday the news came out. Have you seen this?
Yes, I saw that. Dude,
Just when we talked about it.
maybe they heard us. Maybe we're the reason.
He definitely heard us.
Yeah, 100%.
Of course he heard it. He's
We
here right
shifted
now.
it. Yeah.
He's listening to us right now.
Mark, you're welcome.
So basically, Marky Mark.
What do you think happened? Do you think Trump's putting pressure on him?
No, I think he probably looks at his Polytopia map right now.
Yeah.
Literally. On his own Facebook meta, and he's realizing, oh wait, there's way more people now who are sick of censorship and coddling people, and it's bad for the business. We looked at the numbers. It's time to make a shift. That's genuinely what I think it is. Did Trump spark that and X and all that? Yes,
100%
as well. They shifted the market, and Mark knows the map. He knows the map, and it's exciting. So, for those of you who haven't seen it, they're basically getting rid of fact checkers, and they're going to include community nodes the same way that Elon Musk did with X. And a big shift. They moved their content moderation teams from California to where?
Texas?
Yes.
Of course it is.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane, dude.
Isn't that great?
Texas is going to be very different with California regulation.
What's that?
Texas is going to be very different. What they allow, what they don't allow.
Yeah. So they're also decreasing content policies, specifically around gender and immigration. What he said is that they have been out of touch with the mainstream discourse. And that's why they're doing a lot of these changes, making a lot of these changes. They're focusing more on illegal activity and, generally bad stuff. And yeah, it's great. I think freedom of speech is coming back. I think it's the pendulum is always swinging. And right now it hit its peak of you can't say anything, you have to be careful what you say, and now it's swinging back.
So what happens when freedom of speech is taken away?
What happens when it's taken away?
It's that video I showed you yesterday.
Oh, yes. Oh, glad you bring it up because I have it ready.
I love that.
See how prepared I am?
I love it. This is great.
You showed me this video yesterday when we talked about this. This is a socialist convention. And they talked about if we want to, get rid of capitalism, we have to organize and so on. So here's a compilation of why, for those of you who like capitalism, why you don't have to worry. Because they're not getting anything done.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to
Instead
go.
of clapping?
What does this mean? Clapping?
It's instead of clapping because it's gives anxiety to people and stuff.
Oh, dude, I would pay. He stood up.
I would love to hang out there with you.
Dude, honestly, if I know it'll never come to Texas, but if it ever comes to Texas,
You got to travel for this.
I would 100% do it.
So this is what happens when South Park becomes live action. This is literally, I'm like, when are they going to laugh? When are they going to say there's hidden cameras?
Well, let's continue. I want to see.
They couldn't even achieve utopia in a single room full of like-minded people. Yeah.
Okay, let's play it.
Okay, is there a speaker against name,
From now on.
chapter,
That's
pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
She was comrade, I think.
Okay.
Quick point of privilege once again. Hi, James Jackson, Sacramento DSA, he, him. I have already asked people to be mindful of the chatter of their comrades who are sensitive to sensory overload.
Comrades, they call
And that
themselves
goes
comrades.
double for the heckling and the hissing. It is also triggering to my anxiety. Like, the be comradely isn't just for, like, you know, let's keep things civil or whatever. It's so that people aren't going to get triggered and so that it doesn't affect their performance as a delegate, okay? Your need to express yourself is important, but your need to express yourself should not trump or over, like...
I see that no one's
said it.
clapping for me. It could be because I'm not engaging, but it also is because everyone's doing this. And that's really important because those loud bursts of noise, even though this is a noisy space, we
Because I'm
can
not
do
engaging.
something
This man
like
owned it.
reducing that. That's really important. So please don't clap, shoot up these. We have a lot of disabled comrades,
Please don't
and
No, he said,
Dude,
he said
I
people,
want-
people aren't clapping for me because I'm not engaging. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's great. I love the ownership.
Yes, he taking
And then he
ownership.
found a way to bring it back to being like, well, it's not my fault. It's you guys. And then put it so
Dude, I would love to go there with you, and we just sit in the middle of it. Nobody's making loud noises, and we're just like,
yeah, and then we get kicked out. No, they can't touch us because then it would be against our rights.
no, us they can touch
I mean,
'Cause
we'd
we're,
make a scene.
we're
We'd have to make a scene.
those people. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many jokes. There's so many jokes. We can go down the route.
a lot of those are invisible disabilities. You don't know who it is that is having a more difficult time navigating this space, and this space was not created with all of their needs in mind. So it's up to us to modify that space to make sure that everybody is able to move in the ways that they need to move. And additionally, with the noise issue, like
How did this guy get there?
I have no idea.
What's his story?
And people are engaged.
Who hurt him?
Is it nurture or nature? Dude, I feel like by the time we get to like freaking 50 episodes, everyone's gonna be like, there are 4 debates that Leon and Ahmad always talk about that we'll never know the answer.
Nature versus nurture.
Nature
What's
versus
another one?
What is it? Perfectionism or not non-perfectionism? We haven't gotten to that one yet.
I think we agree on it. We just push for different
I can
sides
see
to
that.
focus more on it.
We like, guys, we agree on a lot of things. Oh, excuse me, comrades. We don't want to say.
Should that become a thing?
I can't believe I just said, guys, I'm so sorry. There might be females watching this. Oh, I can't even say females. I'm stressed, dude. I just did. Everybody, people, I'm sorry for saying what we said.
Oh my god, it's so exhausting.
Next episode, we got canceled.
waving banners, right? Because there's all sorts of things. If you don't know what to do, show up these, right? I'm sure there's lots of ways that we can communicate to each other without needing to rely on something that's going to hurt somebody else. We have quiet rooms that are available. There's a range of options of these, right? Please don't go in that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent, for instance, right? Because we don't want to put people in stressful situations that they don't consent to, right? And
Hold up, pause it.
Dude, we should go there aggressively scented.
So basically, there's a room for quiet people, but they don't want you to smell. That's wild.
Dude, those people that are so sensitive to hearing, they can hear the smell.
That's insane. I felt that. I definitely felt that. Oh my god.
right-wing infiltrators who are trying to get in here, but it's going to be really traumatic for people if we're not making an affirmative effort to de-escalate each other and de-escalate ourselves.
You're just
right?
talking in
Take
circles.
a deep breath. Doesn't feel better before you say anything. Don't really talk to anybody who doesn't have a credential, especially if you claim to be from the press. You have no idea who that person is. Please do not talk to anybody who identifies themselves as a member of the press without having credentials. Don't talk to cops. Don't talk to MAGA assholes. We're almost there.
Hey,
this-
they're making
but
noises
thank you.
now.
We are going to be
That's what he
visited
said, MAGA
tomorrow
assholes.
by
And everybody was like,
some
"Woo,
MAGA
that's
protesters.
he got engagement."
Is there anybody here who's done abortion clinic escort work? By all means, don't talk to cops if there are cops there for any reason at all, right? And if you do see someone talking to cops, let the marshals know.
The one
What's he
clip,
gonna do?
the one
We
clip
are
isn't in
safe,
there
we are
where
strong,
the
there's
Asian
power
lady from before
in
says we're a little bit
collective,
behind schedule.
in collective work.
Was that on Instagram?
Yes. But man, isn't this like if you're worried about capitalism, you know,
Dude, yeah, this is
Like-
this was definitely not gonna survive.
Nothing to worry about.
Uh,
You know who also thinks about high leverage moves right now?
yeah.
Trump.
Okay, wow.
I don't know if we want to become a news podcast, but dude, he's making some big moves now,
What do you do?
like some high leverage moves. This year is one of them.
I
He,
haven't-
he keeps talking about expanding U.S. territory, which is Canada should be a U.S. state, Mexico should be a U.S. state. Like that's what he's talking about, and he says we should rename the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Why is it called Gulf of Mexico? And he's also intended to buy Greenland. There's
Okay.
56,000 people living in Greenland, and he wants it for number one, rich natural resources, and it's a strategic Arctic location. Because right now, he wants to counter China's and Russia's Arctic ambitions. And so those are things that, pretty high leverage moves, I think. But what would happen?
What if the United States, Mexico, and Canada became one country? If all three nations joined together to form a single country, they could call it COM, or the United Nations of COM, and it would instantly become the most powerful country in the world.
That's
This union
horrible.
would dominate.
Dude,
with
you
a
really had
GDP
me.
Of over $28 trillion.
You really
making it
had me. Is this serious?
It is still serious. That's the thing.
That's wild.
He's still talking about it. He
United Nations
wouldn't
of
name
COM.
it. He wouldn't name it that. But
I hope not. Actually, honestly, if he did, that'd be pretty incredible.
no, but seriously, like bringing it back to the high leverage move things. It is one. Those are.
100%. Okay, but I mean, think about it. If that
Is it
happened,
good moves? I don't know, but
But then
someone's thinking outside the box.
his whole brand around Mexico is done. Now they're allowed. Kind of kills the whole, what made him famous. Build a wall.
You're right.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, listen,
Listen, but
I'm an
every-
immigrant. I don't really care.
But every pop star, which is what Trump kind of is, has a rebranding. Like when Rihanna was the sweet girl and then she turned
Bad
good
girl,
girl,
bad
turned
girl,
bad.
Riri.
Yeah. This is
Dude, you know what's
he's
funny?
turning good.
Somebody said something really interesting, and the way Trump approached this whole election, not this one, the first one, was marketing. It was like, all right, I'm gonna come in there with a strong hook, something to throw off everybody, and then when I get in, they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I don't want to do it that much, or maybe I'm gonna. It's not as extreme as I thought or I wanted it, and he just toned it down. But the hook was, let's build a wall.
Yeah,
We're gonna build a wall better, and we're gonna make China pay for it. That was the hook. Like, yo, what the hell is he talking about? Why is China gonna pay for the wall for Mexico? And it threw everybody in a loop.
And then when people challenged him on it, he was like, the wall just got 10 feet higher.
Yep. Just getting bigger and bigger. And then you get to a place where you're like, well, what happened to the wall? Well, not all the Mexicans are bad. Some of them, And then he slowly but surely just took back everything he was saying, which I think at the end of the day, I think like his PR team deserves a raise. Because literally social media and his PR team is literally what got him elected. It was just how he showed up.
Yeah.
And again, when it comes to like immigration, like coming from a family of immigrants, like I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to talk about it. But it's just like, I think with this, if he got Canada and he got Mexico, I think this would make massive changes, but then it would throw off his whole entire like start to fame. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like, what's his angle then?
I don't know if it was. I don't know.
We're gonna build a wall from here to Russia? Like what's the next thing?
Well, it doesn't mean that.
Because immigrants are the big thing for him. Like a lot of like, and again,
I don't know,
talking-
but it doesn't mean that if they became a state that they could move states. If that makes sense.
yeah. But then if they became part of us, they would get American passports, just like
Not
Puerto Rico.
necessarily.
Just like
Depends,
Puerto
on,
Rico.
depends on how you set it up.
Well, Puerto Rico has American passports.
I don't think so.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe.
It's a state. Like I went to Puerto Rico and I didn't have to. It's just like
Yeah, for you as a U.S. person to go there.
But you don't think
Well, for
Puerto
someone-
Ricans get the
No, I don't think so. Strongly doubt it.
Again, guys, we don't know enough about this stuff. We're
Greenland, part of Denmark, in some way. Doesn't mean that people in Greenland can go to Denmark. It could be.
yeah,
But like
because if they were able to get, I think if he got that would be a power play. That would be a massive power play.
could be.
If he got Canada and Mexico, geez.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know the numbers, right? We don't know how many stars he would be getting, how much it would cost him, all
Dude,
that. So
he would easily go down as one of the most effective presidents of all time if he got them on, just by the sheer like scope of this project.
It's a big move.
It's a massive move. Getting
big
two
move.
countries.
Yeah.
You know, look
This
at that.
union would
You
dominate
had a nation
with
of calm.
GDP of
That's
over $28
massive.
trillion, making it the richest country on earth. The U.S.'s $25 trillion economy would lead, boosted by Canada's energy resources and Mexico's manufacturing
lethal.
strength. Geographically, this supernation would span 21.66 million square kilometers, overtaking Russia as the largest country and nearly doubling Europe's size. From Canada's icy Arctic to Mexico's sunny beaches, it would feature unmatched diversity. The population would soar to nearly 500 million, ranking as the third most populous country behind only India and China. And with a defense budget of over 900 billion and 1.7 million active troops, it would command the world's most advanced and powerful military.
Dude, Trump is literally playing Polytopia real life.
Dude, I'm telling you, if
Like that's how he prediction or hypothesis. Like 2012 or whatever, he played Polytopia and he was like, this is getting boring. I know the game in and out. I want to play it on a more complex board, whatever I became president.
dude, if he can pull this off, dude, he would literally, it would solidify his legacy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen though.
We'll see. In the
That's
next
some-
episode
That's crazy.
of the Driven Podcast. Thanks for watching. Stay driven. I'm gonna go beat you in chess now.
Good talk. Let it go.